So this is the third part of the course where we understand how to push our web application to production. Now a web application is actually in Django and some changes have to be made in the settings.py before we can proceed further for production. The first thing that I had told is always keep false in the debug section so that there doesn't occur any error after you have pushed the code for production. You can see that now we have allowed host and inside that we have this link. So this link actually comes from the app that you make in your Heroku, and I will tell you how to fetch this link and put in your code. The last thing to keep in mind is the static URL and static root. These both are very important to be defined, and oh my god, it kind of got stuck. But yeah, so these both are actually very important because once you push your code to production, Heroku doesn't know that you have static files. Static files meaning JS files, JavaScript files, or maybe some other kind of CSS files. And it doesn't know if there are templates that are using those static files. So if you define this static URL and static root, what happens is once Heroku understands that this is the code, this is how the working is done, it makes a static files directory or whatever you name here, and inside this directory it keeps all the JSS CSS files, JS and CSS files, sorry. Okay, so this is important to be instantiated. Now, yeah, you can see that it is written that static files has CSS, JavaScript, maybe images, and so on. Now, once you have made changes in the settings.py file, you can see there are two new files, runtime.txt and a proc file. Now, runtime.txt just has Python and a version of it. This is required by Heroku to understand that yeah, this code will work on a Python base and the version of that Python base would be this 3.1.7.10. Now this can be different, but you just can't keep any of the version here because Heroku inherently uses only 4 to 5 versions in the 3x Python. You can see that in your Heroku docs or maybe just search it online. The next comes Procfile. Yeah, what is Procfile? So Procfile is basically telling Heroku that yeah, I have a WSGI of G unicorn and I'm going to use that. And the next thing that I've written is dash dash log file. So this is basically a command that is telling Heroku that if, whenever the app starts, give me a log file, meaning file containing all the actions that are happening inside my app or inside my server. So this comes in handy when you're debugging or maybe fixing an error. So both of these files have to be present, and along with it, if you can see, there's an nltk.txt. Now I have encountered error because I hadn't, used this nltk.txt file. So this is required by Heroku again to understand that your code is using Twitter samples dataset and stock words. Now Heroku doesn't inherently have all of these data, and whenever you are asking Heroku to install, from your requirements.txt file, it requirements.txt file has NLTK. So it will install NLTK and that exact version, but it won't install the corpus dataset. For that, you have to, you know, use this NLTK.txt file to tell it excluding the requirement.txt, you have to download this also. So once you have made an ltk.txt file, proc file, runtime.txt file, then we can move forward. So the first thing is to push your code to GitHub. If we are using Heroku, that we are actually, then they have provided us with a very simple way of uploading code for production. So you can go to your GitHub account and simply upload your code like I have done. Now you can see that there's a my site, polls, proc file, manage.py file. Yeah, all of this was present there also. And one thing that you can notice is that in my environments, it is telling me that yeah, a sentiment logistic Heroku is active. So what does this mean? This means that my, this whole repo is actually connected to my Heroku app and is active, meaning my site is actually up. So you can go to your Heroku account or make a new one. And once you do, you can see this new app, you know, click on it and you can see there's a create new app. Now it will take you to a page where you can specify your app name, choose a region. It only gives you two options, United States and Europe, and then create an app. Now I already created an app, so I'm not making a new one. But once you create an app, it will be shown in your dashboard. So I have already have an app, and inside your new app that you must have made, you can see overview, resources, deploy, metrics, and some other options. So first, go to your settings. Now inside settings, you have to add a build pack. Now you can see that I've already added one Heroku Python. So you must have not added anything because inherently Heroku doesn't do anything. You have to manually set up a build pack. So you just add a build pack and choose Python and then save changes. So once you have done this, Heroku now understands that your code is in Python and the server is actually required having a Python dependency so that your code would work in that server. Now next thing is you go to deploy. This is where the most labor has to be done, and now you can see that there are three options, meaning there are three options for deployment method. We use the GitHub option. So once you click on this, it would ask you to, connect to your repo. So first of all, it would ask you to, input your credentials for GitHub account. And once you do, it would set up your account and then it would ask you to write the name of the repo that you want to connect to it. So you can see that my account, SIP27878, is now connected with this repo, Sentiment Logistic Heroku. You can see that I can disconnect it also. And then you can go to the next part, that is automatic deploys. Now automatic deploys are not what we are going to use because we have to build in CI or CD. The next thing we go for is manual deploy. Now manual deploy is where we actually choose one of the branches inside our repo, which is, let's say, master for me, and then we go for deploy branch. Now once you do this, it takes your code from your repo and feeds it into the server. And you can see that there's a build master with a key given, and inside that you can see that there's a using build pack, it has detected Heroku Python. Now it is taking all the specified version of Python from my runtime.txt. Now it has installed Python 7.1.10. Then it is taking all of the requirement.txt packages and setting that up. Now the next thing you can see is that it is downloading the NLTK corpora. It is doing that because I've already defined an nltk.txt file where Twitter samples and stop words were put in. Now you can see that it has run a manage.py collect static. Now this is the function which I was telling you about where the code, oh my god, it has already been done. Yeah, but let me just tell you about collect static. Okay, so this is the part where the server now makes that static files folder and puts all the static files input into that folder. And the command for that is collect static. Now, if no error occurs, you would see that there's a deploy to Heroku and there's a tick mark next to it, and you can view your app using this function. This button. Yeah, so I click on this button, and now you can see that there's a sentiment dash logistic dash Heroku dot Heroku app.com. So you take this, you know, this and put it in your my site settings here. Okay, there's another way you can do this before actually doing all of that, which I will show you next. But you can see that if I just put polls, and you can see my page has been loaded. Since this was the actual URLs, that's why the page is actually loaded when I put in polls. And you can just type in any of this, like I'm happy, confirm submission. Yeah, see the positive sentiment. Now, if you don't want to do this way, what you can do is, let's say that I'm actually making a new app. Okay, create a new app, and the app name is, and it is, yeah, so I create a new app. Now see, you can see there's a settings which has no builder packs. You have to add builder packs here, and there's an option of open app. So once you click on this is given to you. Now you can take this part, okay, copy it and put in your allowed host here. Then push the code into your GitHub, or maybe changes in the GitHub, and then do whatever I was doing before this. So yeah, this is the last part that I wanted to show you. Once you're able to do all of that, you can just directly push the code to production and use it however you want.